Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi! I am reAnia. Today I am so excited because I'm taking you through my everyday makeup routine. The look I do when I want to feel cute, glowy and put together without doing too much. It's super wearable, kind of soft glam, and I'm showing you all of my current go-to products. Alright, let's get into it. First things first, I'm priming with Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Because not to prime is a crime, obviously. While it's drying, I'm taking a minute to pluck any stray brow hairs and clean up around my mustache area. Next, brows. Yes, I still do 2016 brow routine and I love it. I'm using reFi to create clean, defined shape and fill any sparse areas. Then I take a small flat brush and carve them out with Fenty concealer, which also primes my eyelid. It's a mess, but I'll fix it. To set the eyelid, I'm using the shade Basic Trot from Nikki Tutorials and Beauty Bay palette, using this fluffy brush. While I'm working on the eyes, I'm gonna use some hydrating eye patches to hydrate my skin and catch any fallouts. Boom. Then I take a brown NYX eye pencil and start sketching out a soft wing. Then I take a small pointed brush and blend it upwards for that lifted effect. Then I take Preppy Pecan from Beauty Bay palette and go over it to define the wing. I mix the same shade with my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer and create a crease. Oh my god, I'm doing so well! Using the same fluffy brush I used earlier to set my eyelids, I blend it all out to add a little depth to the crease. Fake crease. With the same brush, I define my inner corners. I'll come back to those later with contour. Then I use e.l.f. brown liquid eyeliner to define the wing. Got it on my hair. This is a disaster. While the liner sets, let's move on to the skin. Right now I'm a bit tan, but my face is pale, so I mix Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand with Fenty foundation to match my tone. I apply it with a fluffy foundation brush I got off TikTok. Don't judge me. I go in with Fenty concealer to even out my under eyes, to even out my under eyes, and more. For blush, I'm using Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in Pillow Talk. I apply it to the back of my hand and then dab it into my cheeks. Forehead and my nose using this fluffy brush. I bronze my forehead. Why is it so patchy? Cheeks, nose and jawline. I sharpen everything with a bit of concealer just to lift everything. Now I curl my eyelashes, then I apply Barry M mascara. I love this one. It makes my lashes look lifted and fluffy. Setting time! I use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush setting powder and I have those in two shades. I use the lighter one to set under my eyes, the tip of my nose, forehead and anywhere I highlighted or concealed. I add a bit of powder blush, also from Charlotte Tilbury, to add depth. And also go over with a powder bronzer. And then I set everything with a darker shade of the setting powder. I use the same bronzer I used earlier to contour the tip of my nose one more time and contour the top of my nose. I never really contour the middle because my nose is quite narrow here. But you contour your nose to your nose. For highlight, I use Fenty Kilowatt and I mix those two shades together. Just a soft glow on my cheekbones, the tip of my nose, Cupid's bow, and inner corners. I do the Billie Eilish trick and define the inner eye with nude pencil to open up the eye. I go back with the brown shadow on my lower lash line. Then add mascara at the bottom center. I pop on a few individual eyelashes without going full glam. And now let's finish this look with lips. I start with Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeliner and I overline my lips at the center. Then I take a Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat eyeliner and overline even more. Then I take Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick. I dab it on a toilet paper. Go over again. Dab it again. I take a concealer brush and clean everything. And then I set it with a powder. I use Got To Be, what is this called? Setting gel for my eyebrows. And lastly, I set everything with Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. So that's my everyday makeup routine. Soft, sculpted, and super wearable. Let me know in the comments if you try this look and what your go-to everyday products are. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Ciao.